Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A great season finale. A lot of stuff goes down this episode that we're going to break down. Obviously, it comes down to the whole conversation where last week's episode left us. It's like, yo, what do we do about this Coulson situation? Do we save him, or do we use this as a weapon against Talbot? Because the thing is, it's like, obviously they only have one shot with this, and Yo-Yo's the one pushing the most for like, no, we need to use this as a weapon. We can't save Coulson. The future me said that we use this as, if we try to save Coulson, that's basically the end of the world. And it's that tough situation because obviously Daisy doesn't want it. Obviously May doesn't want it. Because the thing, and the sad thing is, like, Yo-Yo has to, and to me, I think that's such a powerful moment, and give like major props to the actress who plays Yo-Yo for kind of making you feel so bad, because it's like Yo-Yo's like, I don't want Coulson dead. If I could, I'd want him to live. But the fact of the matter is, it's one man's life for countless others. We're talking about the entire world here. And she's like, I'm telling you this and you're not listening to me. You're making it seem like I'm the bad guy. Like, I want Coulson dead. It's like, that's not me. It's not fair that I get painted as a bad guy because I'm trying to prevent the destruction of the world. I thought what was going to happen was May was going to knock her out. I thought it was like, oh, whatever she was looking at was like on the table. Like, I didn't get a good look. I was like, oh, it must be something she's going to knock Yo-Yo out and take. It's like, no, what she does is she breaks the odium. Did not see that coming, especially after Mac was like, we're going to take a vote. I honestly would have been so interested to see where the vote landed. It probably would have been an even split, I think. That would have, because the thing is, nobody wants Coulson dead, you know, and it's just kind of sad. And Yo-Yo kind of breaks down because for her, it's just because it's terrifying. Like, she's the one that's the most scared about the future, because she knows, like, if they do this, that means they're going along the same timeline. That means Mac will potentially die. It's something that Mac was kind of getting to. He's like, when it's all said and done, they'll have to answer for what they've done here. And Yo-Yo's like, she's not afraid of, God isn't the one she's afraid of. So I don't know whether she's interpreted that as because she knows what her future is, that's what she's most scared of, or whether she's thinking like after everything that she's done, she's going to go to hell. I think that might be what she could be applied. I mean, it legitimately could go for both, but because also what the future, like I said, what has in store for Mac and the others and the world, and you know, so she ends up talking to Coulson, and Coulson's like, yeah, he would have made that same choice. But man, that to me, that's the saddest thing. And then even May gives him the choice. It's like, well, it's there, so you got to make the decision. What are you going to do? But for him, it's like he doesn't even say it to like May, like, oh, like, I love you. He's like, I made my feelings clear, just like she's made her feelings clear to him. But it's like, you can't even say the words. It's because he's like, I don't want to leave you alone. She's like, well, then don't. You have the choice. And that's such a hard thing, because for him, he feels like it's selfish. I've literally been given a second chance. I was supposed to die back then during the events of Avengers, but I was given this second chance, and we've accomplished and done so much. And it's like, for him, it feels greedy if he goes back for thirds, essentially. And everything playing out, like, obviously there's the whole Paulie and Max situation. He went to go rescue her, but the problem is when Fitz gets there, they're like, no, this is bad, because Mac and Paulie don't make it in the future. So him and May went in there to save them, which they did. They took work together and they saved them, but that ultimately put Fitz in a position where it's like he could die, which he does. And it's like, what? It's the suckiest thing, because it's like, because it was almost like time had to get its just due. It's like it didn't get Paulie or Max, so at least one of them had to die. It's like, it sucks. And he's just kind of like, I can't feel my legs. And it's just the most heartbreaking thing. And it's just kind of like Max staying by his side during it all. And it sucks. After everything, it's like, we're changing the future. Because even going down the stairs, like, Robin goes, some things are different. And that's one of the escalating things right there, was that. And it's just kind of like, man, that sucks. That was just like the most heart-wrenching thing, was because of that whole situation. It's just kind of like, after everything, especially because it's like Fitz and Jim are supposed to be a thing. Obviously, you know me, I'm going to get to things later on, but just like the initial emotion, let me talk about that. It's just like, after everything, it's like, you're going to give them the biggest middle finger by killing Fitz. I'm like, you suck. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks. That sucks. Then kind of swirling around, there's the other side of things. I did like what Daisy had said, though. Like, instead of her being the one in charge, she decided to put Mac in charge, because it's like, he's the one that's he's the moral compass of the team. He's the one that's got the biggest heart, because she's like, I'm too emotional to kind of lead the team. And everyone agreed that Mac should start leading from here, and even Coulson backed the play. But then, like, Coulson didn't actually take the treatment, because he's like, it just didn't feel right. And so he's like, I leave it all to you, Daisy. It's like, you have to be the one. It's because you can talk Talbot down, but if you can't, you're the only one strong enough that actually can put him down if need be. So she does try to talk him down, which I love that moment of her just kind of jettisoning herself forward and slamming into him like that. Even a moment where he grabbed her, lifted her into the air, and then came slamming back down. I was like, wow. Because it's interesting enough, it just kind of, it's something I really kind of don't, I feel like you don't get to see Daisy go all out against someone. I mean, he could take the blow, but I feel like she never really, like, she's never faced anyone where she had to go all out like that necessarily. Like maybe Hive is like the closest thing, but I don't remember her ever going. I mean, still, it was just interesting circumstances. She tried to, like, you know, get him to back down because it's like, you know, he's like, I'm trying to be a hero. She's like, you already are one. The moment you signed up to protect all of these people, willing to sacrifice your life, even though, you know, people around, like, for the greater good and, you know, trying to protect people, willing to sacrifice your own life, that proves that you're a hero. The fact is, the moment you signed up, you were a hero. Like, we've all made that choice to be heroes. But that wasn't enough to get through Talbot because sadly he was too far gone. Because in his mind, it's like, oh, Hill said that before she brainwashed me. And Coulson would get the same speech before he stabbed me in the back. And so he decided he was going to try and take Daisy's powers. And lo and behold, the serum was in there. And I was like, is she going to give that to him? I was like, what would that do? Because they need the odium to affect him. I was like, how's that going to, how? And it's like, she injects herself. I was like, I didn't see that coming. He's absorbing her and she breaks free. And she hits him with a powerful shot. That was so cool, though. Like, I thought still, it's pretty impressive. I like big on, like, climactic battles, but at the same time, it's like, I don't mind a one shot either. Just her, like, hitting him so hard that she hit the ground hard. Like, the recoil knocked her back and cracked the ground. She sent him flying, glass shattering on the buildings as he got knocked up into space. Like, I was like, holy! I thought he was going to come back down. I was like, nope, he couldn't, because the moment he hit once he hit past the atmosphere and went into space, which is kind of sad, because technically, that's the third person in this series that's died like that, because Lincoln and Hive died like that. So sadly, it's sad that things kind of turned out like that. But he wasn't the man he was before that. Wasn't Talbot. That this was the only way to stop him. It's not what Daisy wanted, because it's like, no, this isn't what S.H.I.E.L.D. do. We have to find another way. But in this case, it's like they couldn't. This is the only means, and especially because May kind of set things in motion. All at the same time, we have Coulson almost dying, and in that heartbreaking moment, everything slows down. Yo-Yo blames herself because she's like, "Oh my God, I said to him to do this, and he did it. Like, why did he listen to me?" You know, Yo-Yo blaming herself, but it's like him getting like, it's just so much all at once, man. But luckily, he survived. That was kind of pretty neat, and but then it's just kind of like that whole moment. Because there's also the moment with Deacon, where Deacon was like, yeah, by the time you get back here, I'll probably be gone. It's like in case the world does kind of turn out the way it did, the fact of the matter is I don't want to be around. I want to, experience the world, because he spent so much time locked up in a way. He wants to kind of experience the world. Because it's like, yeah, if it doesn't happen, I'll blink. I don't think he blinked out of existence, because most likely, I mean, I would assume, like I said, she threw up at the end of that episode. Maybe that's not implying she was, but I thought when she threw up, I thought that was kind of implying, like, when Deacon told her, was like, oh yeah, she's pregnant. I thought that was, so I was like, well, because I'm making Deacon doesn't disappear, because it's like, yeah, Fitz, like Gemma's already pregnant, so I thought that might be the case. But obviously I'll get to that in a second. But it's just kind of like, I like that thought he said. He's like, when I met you guys had a bond that I never seen before. Like, I've heard people killing for each other, sure, but you guys are willing to die for each other. He's like, I saw that. He's like, that's a bond I never thought I thought, like, that was something that was truly true, that, it's like nothing could ever break that bond between them. And yeah, they've had some rough patches. Like I said, like, it's kind of gotten brought up, like, this season, like, things have not been easy for the team, because they've been in very compromising positions. But, even when it's all said and done, they have come together just because of just everything that went down. I do love the twist, and it's like, yeah, because, it's like, Fitz, we'll see, sad Fitz couldn't be here to see you, and I'm like, wait, what do you imply? I was like, oh my God, Fitz survived. It's like, no, he didn't. Fitz did die. That Fitz. There's still, I keep forgetting, there's still the Fitz of present day, the one who partway through the season, froze himself so that he could be, taken to the future. That Fitz is still out there somewhere in space. And I was like, right. Oh my God. And basically for Fitz, it's kind of interesting, because this is also the Fitz that didn't do any of this stuff too. So that's kind of a nice thing too. It's like, oh, you had Fitz kind of do these bad things, but the man he wants to be is that man before he had to be put in this compromising position. Obviously, this team will remember the stuff he did, but it's like, nah, this is a different Fitz, not the Fitz that kind of remove that inhibitor from Daisy's neck and everything, kind of like force that situation. I was like, that's so good. I was like, I wasn't, like I said, I was so sad. I was like, that sucks. It didn't even cross my mind until they start bringing it. I was like, oh my God, Fitz is still alive, technically. I mean, it still sucks because Gemma still lost him, which also begs the question, like, I don't think, did Deacon kind of blink out of existence? It was just kind of something that was never really brought back up again. I guess it was just kind of early brought up of like, oh yeah, he's just going to go out on his own and everything. So I don't know whether he blinked out of existence and because of that, everyone forgot about him type of thing. Because it was never really brought up. I mean, she went into an empty room. So I'm guessing maybe that room she went into is kind of like Deacon's room. So I guess it's supposed to imply that he did blink out of existence. I mean, that's the only way I can assume that, which sucks. Because he never got to tell Daisy how he really felt about her, which is kind of super messed up, being that case. So that's the only thing I can, like I said, because no one else said anything. So it's probably just, like I said, because he blinked out of existence, all the memories of him, which is super sad too, because it's like, oh, nothing happened. Like I said, no one even mentioned Deacon, so they don't even know. They don't even know, dude. God, time travel is so fucking depressing, dude. I just thought about that because I was like, oh, I just guess it's just implying that he already left. But it's like, of course, you think he'd make a bigger, it may include. It's like, no. So that must mean that Gemma wasn't pregnant. I thought it was kind of implying that she was, but it's like, no, I guess it's just kind of like weird timing and she just happened to be sick at that time. But it's like, no, she's not pregnant. So that's why Deacon disappeared, because Fitz died. So, and he's up in space too. So it's that whole situation. I'm like, man, that's sad. Like I said, Daisy never knew. And even if she did know, like, she wouldn't remember it. It just sucks. It's like I was kind of hoping on some level that Deacon would still be kind of around and kicking, but it's like, no, that chapter's closed like that. And it's like, I mean, you knew it was going to be one of two ways. Either he was going to die at the end, or like he blink out of existence type of thing, or maybe he'd be kicking, stick around. Like I said, time might be weird where it's kind of like a paradox, so he gets to stay, but it's like, no, time caught up to him. So, and like I said, it's so depressing because no one will ever remember him, and that's the most shitty thing about it. So. But, it's like everyone kind of says their goodbyes. The fact of the matter is, Coulson's like, oh, we have to move on. But it's like, no, Gemma's like, we don't move on. The fact of the matter is we close that part of our heart and we kind of visit everyone once in a while, but we never completely move on. None of them do. I guess in a way, it's kind of like a sad and happy thing of like not moving on for those we lost. But more so always keeping with them. But at the same time, that is being a thing of like, we cut ourselves off just so that we never have to feel like, I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's got this happiness yet sadness to it. Like the whole, like those we keep, I mean, in her case too, is like, well, she had to, know that her husband died. The man that she loved died, but also, there's the benefit of, well, he's still alive. So everyone says their goodbyes, I love Daisy's final line being, I love you, and being like, thanks for the spaceship. And he's like, you're welcome. Mac being like, I'd love, I'll call you every day for advice. He's like, you won't need it. Besides, I'm also going to throw my phone in the ocean. So, but luckily at the end of it all, like obviously he's only got a little bit of time left, but I think the way Gemma was kind of implying is like things could change in that time, and his situation could change. But for now, he's going to live his life of retirement. And be with May, and she's going to be by his side, and them holding hands. I'm like, yeah! And so it's like, okay, so where do we go from here, talking to Mac? And so I can only assume they're going to go look for Fitz. It's kind of their next stop. So, like I said, season finale, whether this is the end or not, it's hard to say. With what they did with this whole situation, you definitely see more story out there. I mean, because we could potentially have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in space. This could also be like May and Coulson's exit, or maybe we come back, and it's like maybe get a kind of similar thing, but also a time skip. Because we did have like the monolith destroyed, because it's like that's what you don't want to kind of mess around with that whole time situation. So there's that. Burn all of Robin's pictures of like that, the way the future was supposed to be, but obviously things have changed. So I am still curious, like what exactly went down in the original timeline. I'm guessing it's kind of like what they said, like they tried it on Coulson, but it didn't work, and he ended up dying anyway. So they didn't have the weapon needed to take on Talbot. Because I can, not unless it makes you wonder, was it someone different? Could it have been potentially Rue? I mean, so much is still left open with the whole time travel time thing. So it could have easily, maybe it was always supposed to be Talbot. everything was pointed to make it look like it was Daisy, but it doesn't mean it was Daisy. Maybe it could have been Ruby in that particular, nevertheless. But, Daisy probably didn't have the power to fight him. So what happened is he ended up absorbing her and then ended up cracking the earth open. I can only assume because he cracked everything open, he ultimately died, even being as powerful as he was, because he wasn't around in the future. So most likely even he got killed with the whole situation. So that's kind of my only way of kind of thinking about it. But it's because Coulson didn't try to save himself. He gave it to Daisy as a means of dealing with this. So it makes you wonder what little pieces came together to change this timeline into what it was, into this new timeline. I guess maybe a conversation with Yo-Yo because she met her future self made that thing change. I don't know. It's just the littlest things had the biggest effects, that just kind of made him just, it's just so. I don't know, maybe it just took him waking up. The decision was initially taken out of his hands, but maybe admitting how he felt about May kind of led to that. There's so many just little domino effects that probably built up to ultimately things playing out the way they are. So, like I said, I do not know if this is coming back for another season or not. This is that situation where it's kind of like this kind of ended in a very nice way. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it kind of brought an end to their story, but obviously there's still being room open left if they want to tell more story. So it leaves me conflicted because, if they decided to end it here, I'd kind of be okay, but I'd still rather see more story, just kind of see, where they would potentially take this in the future. But like I said, that ultimately comes down to this whole situation, what they decide to do. I'd be interested to see what they would potentially do with the sixth season. I feel like if they did bring it back for a sixth season, it would most definitely be the last season, especially with all that's happened here. I mean, it's also kind of like they've literally saved the world. I mean, they've saved the world before, but I feel like this is the most cataclysmic situation the world's ever come to, and they saved the world from it. So it kind of seems like this is kind of the big hurrah adventure. But like I said, I don't know. Ultimately, we have to wait and see. There's a part of me that is kind of I'd rather there kind of be a sixth season to kind of finish everything off completely, kind of. But it's not like things end on a somewhat happy note. So I'd still be interested. If, like I said, I'm up in the air. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.